போய் எட்டு வரலான்னு அதுக்குள்ள நீங்க எல்லாம் உட்கார வச்சுட்டீங்க. மேடம் பாஸ்வேர்டு கூட அது கூட மேடம் தண்ணி
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Sir, good morning, sir. Sir, sir is getting ready, sir. Good morning, sir. Sir, SRIRAM, sir.
Whether my video is visible?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay. I could not see it here. Yeah. Hello, sir. Good morning, sir. Shall we check the screen and all? Shall we display?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can do, sir.
Post disable sharing.
Yes, sir. Now.
Okay, now?
Okay.
Is it coming now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
First screen is visible?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay. Fine, fine. Thank you. Sir, good morning, sir. Principal, sir.
Sir, good morning.
Good morning, good morning. How are you, sir? Fine, fine, sir. Nice to see you after a long time.
ரொம்ப நேரம் வெயிட் பண்றீங்க போல.
இல்ல சார், நானு வந்துட்டேன். அதுக்குள்ள ஒரு சின்ன ரெண்டு மெயில் அது இது அனுப்ப வேண்டியிருந்தது, அதெல்லாம் முடிச்சுட்டு. அப்புறம் சார் காலேஜ்ல தானே?
ஆமா பாஸ்.
ஓகே ஓகே.
பார்த்த பேக்ரவுண்ட்லாம் பார்த்தா எப்படி இருக்கு? வீட்ல இப்படிலாம் ரெடி பண்ண முடியாதுல்ல. ஏன்னா அங்க இருந்து நம்ம கனெக்டிவிட்டி ஆகலைன்னா ரொம்ப சிரமமாயிடும்.
நீ அத ஜூம் யூஸ் பண்ண மாட்டாங்க. ஜியோ மீட் வந்துருக்கு. என்னாச்சு? ஜியோ மீட். நேத்து லான்ச் ஆச்சு. சூப்பரா இருக்கு.
Participants could hear us. Apologize.
Sir.
Participants நம்ம பேசுறது கேக்குமா?
Yes, sir. கேக்குது.
அதான் அந்த அமௌண்ட் வித்ட்ரா பண்றது. சைன் அப்.
ஹலோ,
சைன் பண்ண நீ process பண்ணணும். டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்ல ஜம்முன்னு உட்காந்துட்டீங்க.
ஆமா சார், நமக்கு இது ஒண்ணுதானே. நிம்மதியா இருக்கிற இடம் இது ஒண்ணுதான்.
கிளியரா வரல.
ஹலோ பிரிட்டோ, குட் மார்னிங்.
குட் மார்னிங்.
How are you? Brito, you have to unmute.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning, good morning.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Nice to hear you. Nice to see you.
It is my pleasure to share the stage with you, sir. Actually, I'm much privileged and honored.
Oh, nice of you. Nice for the wordings there. But still,
thank you, sir.
Nice. You people are frontline warriors. You are there in the field, right? We are just inside the room and talking.
Sir, what I learned from you, sir.
All the things are fantastic. You are really
yes, sir.
Doing a good job. Doing this
thank you, sir.
Nice to hear
it. What is interest?
ஏன் பேச கேட்கலையா?
ரொம்ப கம்மியா கேக்குது. இதுல பண்ணுங்க. Okay, thank you.
ஓகே வந்துச்சு.
இவங்க ஷேர் பண்றது இதுல வச்சிருப்பாங்க.
ஷேர் பண்றது நான் பண்ணிட்டேன். ஷேர் மை ஸ்க்ரீன் கிட்ட அப்ப பண்ணணும். அவங்க எனேபிள் பண்ணணும்.
Good morning. வந்துட்டு மேடம்.
Oh, good morning, madam. Kritika, madam. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. Morning,
Sharif,
sir.
sir. Sharif, sir has become so white.
Morning together.
Yeah, sir.
பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட் எல்லாம் வந்துட்டு இருக்காங்க.
Yeah, sir. Hi, sir. Good morning, Sheriff, sir.
Good morning, madam.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, morning, sir. Morning, sir. Madam, audible இருக்கா எனக்கு?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes. Okay.
Good morning, James.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. நல்லா போதுமா?
Yes, sir.
எல்லாருமே சிரிக்கிறீங்க. எல்லாரும் சிரிக்கிறீங்க.
Happy morning, sir.
Happy morning.
Madam Hamlata, madam, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Everybody could hear. Yes. Nice.
Ma'am, எப்படி இருக்கீங்க ma'am? Sir?
Can you check the live in YouTube?
Dipin had joined.
So, ready to join, sir.
சாஃப்ட்வேர் இருக்குது. அது இப்போ ஃபர்ஸ்டே சொல்லுவீங்க அது போட்டுக்கலாம். இப்போ போட்டோம்னா 10 நிமிஷம் ஆகும்.
I think we have achieved century. So Please start.
Yes, sir. Yes.
என்ன பேர் இருக்கும் இது இல்ல இது ஆச்சுன்னா இது போட்டு விட்டுறாங்க இது வேற ஒரு சொத்துல எப்பன்னு சொல்லி போய் போட்டுடலாமா அப்புறம் போட்டோம் சொல்லுங்க போட்டுருக்கு அது பாத்தீங்கன்னா நான் இவ்வளவு சொன்னதுக்கு அப்புறம் வர மாட்டேன் ஆபரேஷன்ஸ் எல்லாம் இதுல தானே இருக்கும் இதுல பண்ணிக்கோங்க
உங்க சைட்ல வந்து இது இல்லையா? உண்மை இந்த பக்கம் தெரியாது. அப்போ நம்ம அந்த பக்கம் வச்சுக்கலாமா?
அங்க பண்ண
வெளியே போகாது, வாய்ஸ் பேசினா வாய்ஸ் போகுமா?
நம்ம பேசணும்னா நம்ம மீட் பண்ணிட்டு நம்ம பேசிக்கலாம். சொல்லணுமா? சரி, ஓகே ஓகே.
Jibin to please. Jibin Nandha. Here.
Hello, Jibin. Hello, Jibin.
Hello. Yeah, I can hear you, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. How are you, Ma? Good morning.
Yeah, very good morning.
Yeah.
It's very early morning here.
Okay. Okay.
Hope you all are safe and doing well.
Yes, Ma, it's going on.
Dr. JIBIN, good morning. I'm
Very good
Sriram.
morning, sir.
How
Yeah,
are you?
hi. I'm very fine, sir. I know you.
Okay,
I
fine.
attended your seminars in the PSG college.
Oh, fantastic. Nice to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, good morning, Jibin.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. Very good morning.
How are you? Okay.
I'm very fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Principal sir, very good morning. Happy to see you after a long time.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm very fine. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you to share with us,
Yeah.
being with the discussion.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you.
What's the time there, JIBIN?
Time is early morning, 6 a.m.
Oh, 6 o'clock.
You wake up early.
6 o'clock. Yeah, very. Today is Saturday, so today is my week off. So still, yeah, no problem. I'm very happy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, Ma. Okay, shall we start the session?
Yes, you are the host.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. I have to start now. Okay, sir. Okay. Hello, everyone. Is it audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome, everybody, on this wonderful morning. I would like to invite you for the panel discussion on the topic of entanglement of clinical pharmacists in post-COVID world, organized by Nandha College of Pharmacy, Erode. I feel immense pleasure to welcome you again on this interesting topic. Thank you all for finding time and visiting today's webinar on this auspicious occasion. Through public preventive measures advocated by WHO, the public are working together in their respective countries to flatten the curve. With a near enough global lockdown, there seems to be an even greater dependence on pharmacists as the first point of contact to fulfill the public's healthcare needs. Pharmacies around the world are one of the few places that are kept open for public service even during the strict lockdowns. Community pharmacists and their teams are a vital healthcare provider during the outbreak. They remain on the front line of public health by serving as direct point of access for their patients. Hospital pharmacists have an important role during the outbreak in infection control as well as patient care and support. On this point of view, today's topic is remarkable one to discuss in this forum for the future venture. So the eager delegates will be satisfied by this event and your ideas are also more appreciable one to discuss in this panel by our esteemed resource persons. Our resource persons are Dr. SRIRAM, Professor and Head, Sri Ramakrishna Institute of Paramedical Sciences, Coimbatore, Dr.BRITTO DURAI Singh, Clinical Pharmacist, Ganga Medical Care and Hospital Private Limited, Coimbatore, and Dr.JIBIN MATHEW from the Pharmacy Advisor, Boots UK, London. It's my pleasure to welcome you all for your august presence for today's session. Welcome you everyone here. So it's our tribute to show our gratitude to our management, Thiru V. Shanmugan, Chairman, and our secretaries, Thiru S. Nandakumar Pratip and Thiru S. Tirumurthy Nandha Education Trust, who put more effort and huge updated ideas for the growth of this institution to this reputed stage. So on this wonderful occasion, I would like to invite our beloved principal, Dr. T. Shivakumar, Nandha College of Pharmacy. He is a guiding star for us to keep on motivating us towards the success. I request you, sir, to deliver the welcome address for today's session. Please, sir.
Morning, everyone. It is a very great pleasure to welcome everybody gathered in our virtual seminar organized by Nandha College of Pharmacy on the topic of entanglement of clinical pharmacists in post-COVID world for panel discussion with our resource persons. On this wonderful moment, I would like to welcome our eminent speaker, Dr. SRIRAM, Professor and Head Sri Ramakrishna Institute of Paramedical Science, Coimbatore. During his PG itself, he got gold medal and best teacher award, so many awards. Wherever I am going, PharmD is a eminent personality, instrumental of PharmD courses. I'm very happy to welcome Dr. SRIRAM. I feel proud to welcome you, sir, for this occasion.
Thank you, sir.
Also, I invite our second renowned speaker, Dr.BRITTO, DURAI, clinical pharmacist, GANGA Medical Center Hospital Private Limited, Coimbatore, for this auspicious occasion. He is more supporter and good evaluator of our whole team every year. Always he is proud to say that Nandha alumni is part of his navigation. Welcome, Brito, for this wonderful discussion. And equally, I feel delight to have our alumni, Dr.JIBIN MATHEW, PharmD, Pharmacy Advisor, Boots UK, London United Kingdom, for this panel discussion. As a keen player in the Department of Clinical Pharmacist, now he changed so many vertically, longitudinally. Seeing the biodata, he was well planner for interaction with clinical interactions as well as prescription interaction, auditing. I think he developed so many way. I welcome you, Jabin, for our virtual platform. Welcome. Equally, I express my gratitude for your august presence in this gathering among your busy schedule. Thank you, all of you. And I feel amazing to welcome the colorful participants from the various institutions, from various states and also outside our country. I'm happy to have more than 1,200 participants from various pharmacy college, university in and around India, in abroad also, in which one of the international delegate, Anu Rosina, King Ahmad University Hospital, Bahrain, and Mr. Nuhu Abdullah Khan from the College of King Khalid University, Saudi Arabia, and many of them from the Uttar Pradesh, Kerala, and Manoj Kumar Pandit from Rajasthan, Ragni Dilip Patel from Nasik, and other, even in the CL Bait, Mariamma, and Vinaya University, and many people newly joined it, and so many of them associate with our last 1 month for this webinar. The today's session is quite interesting with the topic of embracing situation of clinical pharmacists in the post-COVID world. I assure that from this panel discussion, you will be gain knowledge about outbreak of novel coronavirus, also understand about the role of responsibilities of clinical pharmacists, and to purpose innovative strategy for developing pharmacy service under this epidemic condition. I feel gratitude to our management through V. Shanmugam, Chairman and Secretary Nandakumar Pradeep sir, Nandha Educational Trust, and equally Tirumurthy sir, Nandha Educational Trust, for conducting virtual seminar in this COVID-19 threatening condition. I extend my gratitude to our administrative officer, Dr. Krishnamurthy, Nandha College of Pharmacy, Erode. I feel astonished to welcome my dedicated staff member who puts their efforts for making their event to be a successful one, especially Gladys Kalpana and Kritika Professor and Dr. Jagadishwaran and Hemlata. And finally, I'm extend thank to Administrative Officer, Ayurveda Siddha College, Apollo James, to organize for this wonderful panel discussion. Thank you, Apollo James and the team, Kritika and Jagadish and Amlata and Kalpana. Thank you, one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your energetic welcome and pleasurable wishes to each and every one, and your kind gratitude too. Thank you so much, sir. Just a reminder for our delegates, please be sure to type your valuable points regarding this topic into the question box in your control panel. It will be discussed with our resource person in panel discussion. It will create today's webinar more informative. So please put your questions. Your questions are more welcome today. So now we invite Dr. Haja Sharif, Professor, Head of the Department of Pharmacy Practice, Nandha College of Pharmacy, to introduce our renowned speaker, Dr. SRIRAM. Please, sir.
Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar on entanglement of clinical pharmacists in post-COVID world. I extend my gratitude towards our management, our beloved principal and chief administrative officer to provide us opportunity to organize this webinar. Now I am pleased to introduce the first speaker, Dr.S.SRIRAM, who is an eminent personality. He has completed his bachelor degree from the Institute of Technology, Annamalai University in the year 1990. After his bachelor degree, he worked with Glaxo India Limited in Delhi and Haryana for 2 years. During 93 and 95, he did his postgraduate in pharmacology from JSS College of Pharmacy, Ooty. He secured gold medal in MPharm and got Best Outgoing Student Award. He has completed his doctoral program in the field of adverse drug reactions and drug monitoring. In 1995, he joined College of Pharmacy, Sri Ramakrishna Institute of Paramedical Sciences, Coimbatore. Presently, he is heading the Department of Pharmacy Practice. He's got more than 95 publications in both national and international journals for his credit. He has reviewed Best Teacher Award from Dr. Tamilnadu MGR Medical University from the Governor of Tamil Nadu during November 2011. He is the chief editor of Pharmacy Practice newsletter releasing from his institution. He is also an advisory board member and reviewer for various Indian and international journals. He also delivered lectures in various national and international conferences on various topics like clinical research, pharmaceutical care, medication errors, etc. He served as inspector, PCI, and board of study member in various universities. He has reviewed award for outstanding pharmacy faculty during the year 2017, conferred by IPA Anandapura branch. He is appointed to serve as Secretary of Bioethics Unit of Network of UNESCO Chair in Bioethics, and he is also nominated as Associated Secretary, Central Executive Council, Indian Pharmacy Association, Education Division for the year 2018-20. So he is a life member in various associations like APTI, IHPA, IPA, IPGA, ISPOR. With this brief introduction, I call upon Dr. S. SRIRAM to give his valuable speech. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much for a good introduction, right? So more than everything, I would like to introduce myself as a human being, because being human is the one which is really the need of the hour, right? Could you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So the topic given to me is transform challenges to opportunities. At the outset, I'd like to welcome you all. It's a hearty welcome from my side. I always believe to work with heart, because heart is the organ in the body which keeps on giving. Whatever it receives, it keeps giving. So I like heart very much. Of course, my students used to say I always take this cardiovascular system than any other systems. So this working with heart is the one which I believe, and whoever is attending, the participants, the people, the staff, students, whoever here, I want you people to listen with heart. Of course, we need to have a balance between the heart and the mind, because that is a very big challenge nowadays. A lot of things are happening around us. We need to, as a healthcare professional, we need to work with heart. Of course, we have to apply our mind and work with heart. This is just a small imagination. Suppose if your heart speaks, what it will speak. Heart will say that I am the first organ in the body to start functioning. That is, whenever I am in fetus itself, the first organ in the body to start functioning. And it also says that I pump around 5 liters of blood each minute and pump about 1 million barrels of blood. I beat around 300 crore times in a lifetime, and I can throw the blood up to a distance of 30 feet, and I circulate within 20 seconds all over the body. And if you see my travel through my veins, capillaries, arteries, and all the blood vessels, I travel around 60,000 miles along. So a heart can speak this many things about it. Not only the heart, a lot of organs in the body keeps functioning without asking us. According to our work, suppose if you run, the heart beats faster to give you the metabolic demands, whatever is required by your body. And your brain acts very fast. The blood supply to the brain is 55 ml per minute per gram of the tissue. We have got around 1.4 kilogram of the brain, everybody. Everybody is given the same brain. But how do we use it? How do we make use of it? And to what extent, the situation-wise, we will be able to make use of our brain. That is what is more important. Again, the kidney is an organ which excretes all the unwanted things. So similar to that, to what extent we human beings will be able to disapprove from our thinking or the mind, whatever unwanted things. So that is very important. The internal organs are having a fantastic function according to whatever requirements of the body, and externally we need to take the positive spirit from us. All these organs, say for example lungs, in alveoli, they take exchange of gases, they take whatever oxygen required for the body and gives out the carbon dioxide. All the functions are happening without asking us. When I say all the functions are fantastic in the body, but still, if you see in public, we have got lot of disorders, especially in India. We have got communicable diseases, cardiovascular diseases, lot of disorders are we not having medicines. Yes, we do have medicines for all these disorders, but where do we go wrong? It is said by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention that these are the top 10 causes of death in human being, especially the heart diseases is the major one. So a lot of studies are done, a lot of literature says that everywhere the medicines are there, pharmacists are working, they are coming out with medicines, they are there in the community as barefoot doctors, they are there in the clinics, they are there in the hospital as clinical pharmacists, they are doing a fantastic job. But still, there is one reason why these disorders are more in the earth. The major reason they found out is stress. Stress is the major reason. Whenever a student studies, the study becomes a stress for him. Whenever a person goes to the job becomes stress. So everywhere, when we studied, there were no mobile phones, there were no Facebooks, there were no, internet facilities, mail, nothing was there. If you want to communicate, we have to write a letter, The letter will go and reply will come after 3 days, 4 days, 1 week. We have enough time to think. We had enough time to discuss and do things. But nowadays, if somebody wants something, suppose a teacher wants information from the student, immediately they mail or WhatsApp, immediately they want them to reply back. So you are stressed to reply back immediately whatever is asked to you. So during stress, what happens? Your cortisol levels, the ACTH levels increases, and it leads to unwanted disorders. A lot of stress-induced diabetes was reported, stress-induced hypertension, stress-induced ulcer. So a lot of stress-induced disorders are there. Once the stress is relieved, these disorders are very well relieved. This is what the literature says. During stress, what happens? All the hormones or some of the chemicals in your body, it reacts. It increases or decreases. If you see, there is a chemical called as serotonin. There is a chemical called dopamine, endorphin, oxytocin. All these are called as happy hormones. Especially the endorphins are called as happy hormones. When you do things happily, when you keep your mind happy, always see to it that your body becomes happy and you get relieved of pain. Whenever you get anxiety, excitement, or whenever you are feeling depressed, you get pain all over the body. So this is because of the chemical substances which are, the chemical reactions which are happening. Just see this baby with a chocolate cake. The happiness for the entire baby, this entire happiness is because of the small cake. It enjoys eating it. It is not bothered about the whatever happening in the press, all those things. It enjoys, right? So like this, the pharmacist, we need to do our duty. We have to enjoy working. I would like to say about this lady, Louise Hay. She is a teacher again. She is there in the United States. In the age of 54 itself, she was diagnosed to have breast cancer by the doctors. And the doctors, even though they said within 2 to 3 months you are going to die, you are in the third stage. And she is not at all bothered. She said, okay, fine, anyway, I'm going to die. So I will be happy with everyone. I'll just share all my things. I'll try to help people. Right. So a lot of philanthropic activities she has started into, and for your surprise, I'll tell you, she lived till the age of 90 years. They still doesn't know how she lived till the age of 90 years. She's a standing example, and she has written 23 books about the mind and body. People have to go through those books. In her book, she has written a 17-page document. She has kept a tabular column where she has given each and small ailment. Say, for example, headache. What is the reason for the headache? How can you get relieved from the headache within 2 minutes? It's all positive thinking. It's all about happiness. When I say happiness, happiness is a choice. So one thing will give happiness to you, another thing may give happiness to me. So the choice of happiness is different for everyone. Somebody will be happy listening to the music. Somebody will be happy watching a movie, of course, with a good partner. Somebody will be happy driving into the pool in the morning. Somebody will be happy riding the bike for a long distance, a long drive. Somebody will be happy working out in the gym. People will be happy playing with their friends. Of course, some people dancing creates happiness. There are people who get happiness when they keep on counting the money. People, by reading books, books are said to be the good friends. Happiness comes for a few of them by reading books. Give your credit card and see how they are happy, the female, once they go and fantastically they purchase, right? Only when the bill comes, you know. There are people who are very happy doing photo shoot. Chatting with friends creates happiness, a few of them, and doing activity together, right? Collectively, right? Group activity gives happiness. Few of them traveling with friends, they give happiness to them. And of course, gold, purchasing gold gives happiness to you. All these things are fine, but to all of them, there is one thing which can give happiness is helping others without expecting anything. If you know somebody could not help us back, but still you help them, that is the real happiness in life. And we pharmacists are very fortunate to help the people, and we as a frontline workers, I tell you, not only community pharmacists or clinical pharmacists, hospital pharmacists, even in manufacturing, R&D, everywhere, we are working towards patient health. And we have to be proud that we are pharmacists. In fact, I'm always for India, Indian pharmacists we are really proud to be Indian pharmacists because there are a lot of reasons why we can proudly say that I'm an Indian pharmacist. Because India ranks the third largest producer of medicine in the world. We are the second largest pharmaceutical and biotech workforce, and 80% of the antiretroviral drugs used in the world is from India. More than 40% of the drugs used in the US is from India. And we have got the maximum number of US FDA firms, around 584 plants are there in India. And every third pill taken in the world is from India. And 1 in 2 vaccines used in the world is from India. And I'm very proud that I'm an Indian pharmacist. You know about these vaccines? Recently, this Bharat Biotech, they are going to release the vaccine by August 15th. ICMR has given them the deadline. Of course, they are doing their best to do it, and fantastic things are happening. And we are really great that we are pharmacists from India. And we have got more than 20,000 pharmaceutical firms, and we are said to be the pharma hub of the world. If you see the opportunities, unlike any other course, I can challenge anyone. No other course has got this many variety of opportunities what the pharmacy course has got. If you see in the industry side, in formulation side, in marketing, in academics, in regulation, everywhere opportunities are plenty. Only thing is the pharmacist or the candidate or the student has to decide where I wanted to work, where I will suit, which is my positives and negatives. According to that, they have to choose there. There are a lot of job career opportunities, and recently, if you see in clinical research organizations, opportunities are plenty. So you can be as a clinical data manager, drug safety manager, clinical trial manager. A lot of areas are there where you can show your expertise. We are studying a lot. Of course, pharmacy education is the one where I can once again say that the number of subjects what you study is more when compared to any other course in the world. You study around 26 to 30 subjects before you complete any pharmacy education, where it has to help you. Whenever you study, everything has to help you in therapeutics. That is, when you work in the community or when you work in the hospital, it should help. The knowledge what you gain should help in therapeutics. The clinical pharmacy and hospital pharmacy, which is taught to you in extra with all these therapeutics knowledge and pharmacology knowledge, will give you a fantastic education, pharmacy education, of course, the pharmacy education. As I've told you, everybody has got the same knowledge. So knowledge is acquired through learning. Anybody can acquire knowledge. Suppose if the student did not attend the class today, they can go study from the books. They can know what it is. The knowledge everybody can acquire. But skill is the practice-oriented knowledge. Whatever you knowledge, whatever you have gained, that has to be applied. The application-oriented knowledge is called as skill. See, the greatest challenge for these people nowadays is converting this knowledge to skill. We learn a lot. A person who gets gold medal, a person who studies well, may not be able to function well when he or she goes into the community or into the hospital or a clinical pharmacist or into the industry as a CRO, in a CRO organization. Why? What is the reason for all these things? See, the knowledge what we gain, we should be able to transform the knowledge to a skill, and the attitude, the positive attitude, that will give you a good performance in the work. Nowadays, the need of the hour is from the product-oriented approach, we need to go for patient-oriented approach. When I say this, we have to think of the abroad pharmacists, how they get the respect, how do they get this much of remuneration for their activity. That is all because they do from the product-oriented approach. They have shifted long back to patient-oriented approach. If you see the recent, one of the survey conducted, that is called as Mayo's Health Survey in US, where it is said that the consumers, they trust more the pharmacists than any other professionals. So if you see, more than 60% of them, they trust pharmacists. So the patient-oriented services are very, very important. In India, if you see, last 1 year, that is from October 2018 to September 2019, people have consumed by value more than 1,36,802 crore rupee value of medicines. Remember, even though we are producing medicine, second largest producer, everything is fine. But our population itself is consuming this much of medication, this much of ailments, diseases are there in the country. And we pharmacists should fit into this healthcare team. Only then we can be able to have the identity. As I told you, in abroad countries, they concentrate more on patient-oriented services. And we pharmacists in India, slowly we are coming into that, and we have to be a part of this healthcare team. Of course, the Pharmacy Council of India, Medical Council, they have given very clear instructions. The Pharmacy Council of India had given the Pharmacy Practice Regulation 2015, clearly indicating what are the clearly indicating what are the job responsibilities when the pharmacists work in the clinical, what are the job responsibilities, when the pharmacists work in the community, what are the job responsibilities. Individually, it is all there. So each and every pharmacist should go through these pharmacy practice regulations. So when you say a clinical pharmacist, we are more concerned about the clinical pharmacist today, because the clinical pharmacist, again, as other pharmacists in the community, they also work during this lockdown period, during the COVID pandemic situation. They also have to work in the hospital. There are a lot of work they keep doing in the hospital, right? I can say more than 10 commandments they have got. These people are expected to do prescription auditing. They are expected to identify any adverse reactions and monitor this and inform to the ADR monitoring centers. We have got more than 270 ADR monitoring centers, and this medication error monitoring, patient counseling, dosage utilization, to improve the quality of life of the patient. Lots and lots of responsibilities or challenges are there if the work is in the clinical side or the clinical pharmacist. Suppose if you are working in the hospital, that to an NABH accredited hospital, if you see number 3, MOM, management of medication, is the area where the pharmacist can do a lot of things for the hospital. It fully depends on the pharmacist. Suppose the ADR monitoring, the prescription auditing, all those things are written there. It is coming under this number 3, that is MOM, management of medications. In a hospital pharmacy or a clinical pharmacy, pharmacists are expected to talk about the medication errors. They talk about the drug interactions in ADR. If any IV incompatibility studies are there, any cost minimization they can do in the management or the treatment of the disease, any side effects or adverse effects, whether the prescription is rational or not, and also whether any dose adjustment is required, and see to it the prescription is correctly written to the patient. A lot of activities they can do. Suppose, for example, dosage adjustment. When a pharmacist comes across a particular medication, check whether the lab value, say for example, here is a classical example given about a 66-year-old female patient with serum creatinine, diagnosed with CRF, CCF, and atrial fibrillation. So this dosage adjustment, whether it is required or not, they would have studied about Cockroach-Gault equation. This Cockroach-Gault equation, it is estimated, it is used for creatinine clearance, right? Estimation of creatinine clearance. If it is a female patient, you have to multiply it with 0.85. All those things are studied. But when you come to the actual world, you should be able to do this calculation fast, and you have to explain or to help the practitioner or the physician to say that whether any reduction in the dose is required or not. Here, few examples are given here. Say, for example, Ramipril, the creatinine clearance is 40 ml per minute or less. You have to administer only 25% of the dose to the patient. So accordingly, the pharmacist can advise to the doctors or give a clear-cut instructions that this particular patient required dose adjustment. Again, about the information, any drug information, unbiased drug information is required. See, when the representatives come from the company, they give biased information. They talk only about the good aspects of their products. Here, for example, letrozole is a drug which is used for the breast cancer and also has got so many other indications. Say, for example, the same drug can be used to induce ovulation by the gynecologist. So when the drug is prescribed and if the doctor wants information, you need to give reliable, unbiased information. And the information, whatever you give, it should be the latest information, right? So always the updating is required for the pharmacist, especially those who are working in the hospital. Say, for example, the diazepam nasal spray has come. It is approved in 2020. Again, the combination of the SGLT2 and DPP4 inhibitors along with metformin is approved. This fixed dose combination is approved in January 27, 2020. Again, there are few approvals like celecoxib oral solutions, which is approved in May very recently in 2020, and in June last month, metoclopramide nasal spray is approved. So few information, updating of information is again, education is a continuous learning process. Those who are working in the hospitals, it is a big challenge for them to keep update and themselves as well as to update the healthcare professionals. Another important aspect is resistance, antibiotic resistance, that is the resistance developed by the microorganism to the antibiotics. It is said that within a period of 8 years, any new antibiotic, whatever is coming to the market, within 8 years of span, it is going out, that is the bacteria or the virus is producing resistance. So resistance is a major threat for the entire world. If you see, Tedros is the Director General of World Health Organization, and the previous Director General is Dr. Margaret Chan. Both of them emphasize on this antibiotic awareness, and every year for the past 4 to 5 years, the World Health Organization is giving particular dates. Say, for example, in the month of November, this year it is from 18 to 24 to take the lead to create awareness about these resistance developed by the antibiotics. There was a survey conducted by the World Health Organization. It says that 76% of the respondents, that is the public, they think that antibiotic resistance means the body is developing resistance. It is not the bacteria. So the patient knowledge is very, very poor. Of course, they take information. Few educated patients take information from Google and all. But the knowledge, whatever is gained by the pharmacist, has to be used to put them in the group properly, to put the patients in the right direction. The national guidelines are there. It is a 64-page document. It is very clearly given which antibiotic should be used, which particular disorder, which particular infection, what is the first line of treatment. If it is not working, what is the second line of treatment, what are the adverse effects. Everything is given in the form of a tabular column, and each and every pharmacist should have a brief knowledge about this, and they should have this guideline in their hands. Another area where it is now fantastically growing is pharmacovigilance area. And this pharmacovigilance area, we study a lot. When we study about pharmacovigilance, what is pharmacovigilance, what are the different types of ADRs, what is causality, everything is done. But when you go into the hospital, you should be able to identify whether the ADR is there or not. It is not only the skin reactions which we have to account for ADRs. It is adverse effects in patients. Only when you talk to the patients, will be able to know. Suppose the patient complains of dizziness. Suppose the patient complains of irritation in the stomach or chest. So all these adverse reactions also to be noted down. Here I have given a classical example. A new signal had come, that is for norfloxacin, the fluoroquinolone. It is said that the main artery gets ruptured. The aorta gets ruptured, and if you see, aorta is the major artery which supplies to the entire body the blood. So if it is getting ruptured, the entire perfusion pressure for a lot of organs will get reduced, and the organ damages can happen. So this new signal has to be taken care, and always remember this fluoroquinolone should never be given below the age of 12 years, right? When it is prescribed very well, it can be informed to the doctors, and if they are taking it also, we have to inform them that about their sugar control, everything is there. Depending on the knowledge, whatever you have gained in the classroom, it has to be implemented. That is a big challenge for you. And the Gazette of India itself, it is made mandatory that all the manufacturing units, more than 20,000 units are there, all these manufacturing units have to report their adverse drug reactions for their products which they have kept it in the market. So more chances or opportunities are there for the clinical pharmacists, for the people who have completed this PharmD, once they go into the clinical aspects, and not only here in industry also, they are doing this pharmacovigilance, that is post-marketing surveillance study, where they started appointing more number of PharmD students. So what you have to know is where to report, how to report, right? All these things. If somebody asks you, suppose when a doctor asks you, you should be knowing, you should not say, I will go refer and come, right? Because once you complete clinical clerkship, internship, everywhere you study about all these things, right? So you should be able to apply the knowledge. That is what I call it as skill. There are a lot of posts offered by different companies. I'm telling you, this pharmacy is a course. When you finish off, lots of opportunities are waiting for you, but you have to decide where I have to join, which suits me, which is my positives and negatives. So lots and lots of companies are there, but only thing is, just few exceptional cases, please don't take as examples. Take all the positive cases as examples. If somebody says, I did not get job, right? It is the negative example I will say. I will give you n number of positive examples where they have come up in life. Not only with PharmD, just with BPharm itself, just ordinary basic degree itself, they have come out in life. And the company is there for a skilled, competent person. I want you people to be skilled, competent, and opportunities are plenty. You need to make yourself equipped for that. So within this short span of time, I am given just 15 minutes time. So really thank you. Please see yourself big. That is what is more important. Apply the knowledge, skill, attitude, and the practice to be successful. And you are the next generation pharmacist, and we all have a lot of hope in pharmacy profession and pharmacy. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your patience.
Thank you, sir. Your session is superb, sir. Simply, it's superb. Being a very good accommodation in your speech, you had delivered the simple point with practical knowledge to do our work with happily for creating the success in our profession, as well as you had transformed the challenges towards the opportunities in our pharmacy profession very interactively. Also, you had quoted many drugs and clearly emphasizes the role of pharmacist to understand the ADR, contraindication, drug interactions to reach their regimen in a successful treatment. So thanks a lot, sir. Definitely your students are more likely to have such a teacher in their profession for their successful way. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
So next, we invite Mr. Apollo James, Professor, Department of Pharmacy Practice, Nandha College of Pharmacy, to give an introduction about our resource person, Dr. Brito. Please, sir.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Nandha College of Pharmacy, I am very happy to introduce Dr. Britto, DURAI, clinical pharmacist, GANGA Medical Center and Hospitals Private Limited, Coimbatore. Dr. Britto completed his B Pharmacy from Kalasanigam College of Pharmacy and PharmD postbaccalaureate from PSG College of Pharmacy, Coimbatore in the year 2012. He also completed MSc Counseling and Psychotherapy from Tamilnadu Open University. After completing PharmD, he joined as a clinical pharmacist and also as assistant professor in PSG College of Pharmacy and PSG Hospitals, Coimbatore. At present, he is working as a clinical pharmacist in Ganga Medical Center and Hospitals Private Limited, Coimbatore, and taken additional responsibility as head of the Department of Pharmacy since November 2017. His efficient, energetic, and smart work made him as a head of hospital pharmacy services, head of clinical pharmacy services, secretary of pharmacotherapeutic committee. He is a member in drug price negotiation committee, internal audit committee for quality, member in hospital infection control committee, member in antibiotic stewardship committee, and a member in institutional ethical committee also. He secured university first rank in PharmD, awarded gold medal for excellent academic performance by PSG College of Pharmacy and Charitable Trust, Coimbatore. Awarded gold medal for securing first mark by Anandam Mamal Memorial and Charitable Trust, Kalasanigam University, Pushkankoil, Tamil Nadu. Positioned as an internal auditor for NABH in 2015, 17, and 2019 at Ganga Hospitals. He guided more than 10 projects for PharmD students. He published more than 18 articles in international and national journals. He delivered various lectures for the development of clinical pharmacy professionals. With this brief introduction, I am handing over the session to Dr. Britto. Now the screen is yours.
Thank you, James. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, excellent.
Thank you, James, for the wonderful introduction. It will be always very difficult to take up the presentation when the eminent personality is finished before than me. And I thank SRIRAM sir, and we all learn from you. And I would like to start my presentation.
Yes, 1 moment.
Yeah.
Okay. You can share.
I shared already, Akas.
1 second.
Do you want me to share it again?
Yes.
You have to click it and that.
Yeah, I clicked on that and I shared.
Yes.
Is it okay?
Yeah. That's just.
And my topic is as a clinical pharmacist, how do we work and what are the expectation to be satisfied from the management side and from the patient
Can
side.
you make it as full slide, full screen?
Yeah. Okay, James?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I started my career as a second graduate in India, in the sense like we are the second batch of PharmD in India who completed PharmD, and we joined without knowing anything, and then we learned. So I'll start my presentation with the words from the Henry Ford. So coming together is a beginning, and keeping together is a progress, and working together is a success. So you will understand the meaning of these words at the end of my presentation. And everyone will ask me when I started my clinical service, what is doctor of pharmacy and why the people are getting into ward and seeing the patients and doing all the interventions. So it is not a new thing. It's just an updated version of pharmacy profession where it's directly dealing with the patients and dealing with the doctors and giving the patient care. And when I completed my PharmD, most of the people's asked like what we are and how we are. This is what I was at the time of completion of my PharmD. But the society expectation, you know, it is very, very different. And what the society needs, it is expecting me to be like this. It's very, very difficult for me as a young fellow who completed PharmD at a very fresh time. So it is not molding your body, it's molding your knowledge. So that is what much more important to meet the society needs. And as like you all, I have learned few things in my PharmD curriculum. So we all know how do we get interviewed by the patient and how to review the drug chart and how to find out the errors. So when you go to the patient side, when you're as a student or as a training pharmacist or as a fresher clinical pharmacy, you will review all the medication chart, you will talk to the patient, you will take history, and then you will go to the drug chart and you will evaluate the prescription, what for it is written, whether it is written correctly, and you will try to find a lot of errors from prescription, dispensing, and administration. And then once you get experienced and you will go a little closer to the patient area and you will try to analyze the case and understand the cases when you work in a single field for a long time, then you will try to prepare your care plan, like what are all the things to be done as a clinical pharmacist once you review the complete cases. And you will find to evaluate that and you will try to make your intervention and you will present to the different doctors forum and you will make them to accept and you will have the continuous clinical follow-up from the patient. So that is how we learn, as like you all, even I have learned that, and I was trying to do my best in a hospital. And then like from what I learned and what I'm doing, so in a clinical path, so mostly whenever I'm reviewing the patient, like a patient, I will review the drug chart and I will see what are all the medications being prescribed. The prescribed medications according to the patient clinical need, or whether any untreated or undertreated conditions are there. Because I'm working in a major trauma care center where we are not having more clinical fellows to work and analyze all the things. Mostly I'm working with the surgeons. So it is my responsibility to attend all the patients and to review their drug chart and to report to the consultant what to be given and what not to be given from the medicine side. And I always advise any drug therapy to be added, especially in case of antibiotic and other hypertensive and diabetic measures. And I will measure the case and drug efficacy and is there any incorrect medications prescribed with the wrong route or with the wrong doses or suboptimal doses in case of any thyroid disease. And I will try to optimize drug therapy. I will work on cost-effective manner. Since I'm a pharmacist, only the pharmacist knows more and what's the cost of the medicines by comparing the benefit of the clinical effect. And I'll advise on the dose and dose modifications. I'll check out the drug interaction, side effect, toxicity, and I will monitor the efficacy of the drug and our responsibility to update the formulary and how much they are comfortable with the formulary adherences and any administration issues and ADR, allergy, error, again, patient complaints, education, and formulary protocol. So this is what I learned and this is what I'm doing. But the expectation from my consultants or from the management or anyone in a clinical setup is differs. It is not equal in all the setups. Some of the setup they may expect you to work only in a clinicals. In a setup like this, in a busy center, so they may expect us to work in a different way. So what really we want to be, we need to be in a team and we need to be in a collaborative team and we should be the very proactive member. So this is what we need. So whenever you complete your family and whenever you enter your hospital as a clinical pharmacist, try to be in a part of a multidisciplinary team so that you will learn a lot, you get a chance to do a lot. So if you find the work dimension, so I am being the part of clinical, attending the patients and reviewing the drug chart and giving the advice on the medications, how to be used, when to be used and what to be used. and I'm being the part of administration also, and part of quality and research. Always I would advise the people who are doing PharmD, and please don't come only with the knowledge of clinicals, and build up your efficiency and knowledge on how to be a better administrator and how to be a better quality person, and how to do a research. So it's very important when you are entering into your hospital as a clinical pharmacist. So we know, and most probably the dream of the family candidate to become in a reality, it doesn't do the magic. It takes lot and lot of sweat, determination, and hard work. So you need to work very hard with a proper determination to reach your goal. So don't set your goal with the limitations. So make your goal as to reach a height. And with all this, I'm being, as like James mentioned, I'm being a secretary for PTC committee, where we will discuss not only the drug-related issues, and I'll discuss issues related to all the pharma services, including the cost, effectiveness, and what's the problem I'm facing from the patient. And I'll be the part of a drug price negotiation committee, internal audit committee for quality, infection control committee, antibiotic stewardship committee, and institutional ethical committee. I'll explain whatever I'm doing in my future slide. And when, as a PharmD graduate, I'm being on administration. So my roles will be like all the managers and who have completed their master in business. So I'm very little experience on that, but still I'm learning. So maintaining sound inventory practices. When, as a clinical fellow, I'm working on sound inventory practices, so I can work better on VED analysis, because most of the hospital, they will work on ABC, and I prefer VED. So I made a practice of inventory by mixing VED and ABC, so that I can ensure what stock to be available and how much it should be available. Because since we are going to what setup, we know what's the standard practice in our setup in the different areas of our hospital. So it is very easy for us to control the overall inventory and to avoid the unavailability of drugs. Then approving drug entry and exit is an excellent part where as a clinical pharmacist can work, because there are so many spurious drugs as well as irrational combination of antibiotics and some other medicines been entered. Recently, you can go through CDCSO website where it is listed so many combination of drugs should not be used. But when you're working on that, you will regulate the spurious and irrational combination of drugs to be entered into the pharmacy. And to select vendor selection and evaluation. So, when you are procuring the vaccine for your hospital, you should know all the standards, how it should be transported, and all the cold storage practices to be ensured, and all the things. And the novel pharmacy services, which means we have implemented the on-call services system. So my patient or the consultants, they can call us anytime, and if they want to review their patient, they can just text me, so that it will be easy for us to do. So these are all the areas where, as a family candidate, we can work more as a better administrator. And there are few pharmacy clinical indicators for NABH, and different audit is mandatory as per the NABH standard. So it includes mainly the drug recall. So drug recall, it's nothing but the defect in a product, how we are handling. So whether it's reaching the patient or we are trying to avoid before it reaches. So we are the better persons to analyze all the things and to report to the manufacturer and to recall all the medicines. And we could find the reason for the stockouts also. So these are all the factors which directly affect the patient clinical response. So when we are being the part of all the things, it is really very ideal to control the things as an administrator who completed family with the clinical knowledge. So maintaining manpower planning, every people, they will take very lightly on the manpower planning. It's not the work of the pharmacy people or less the manager, or it's a problem with the human resource department. So I always feel very happy to work on the manpower planning. I'll tell you the reason why. So whenever we are reducing the manpower according to the situation, it's really end up with most of the error, which is really going to harm your patient. So we know where and all the high risk areas we are having the problem whenever we are going to the ward. So it is always equally important to plan the manpower for your pharmacy to prevent the medication errors, mainly dispensing error. So to do the annual inventory audits. So I'm heading all the audits. and proper supply medicines to the patient. So these are all the possibilities and challenges and opportunities which I have received when I have taken administrative position. So even it needs a lot of help from different people. So that is what I always maintained. You need to work with a team. So the first thing is you need to set up the team for the better work. Then being in a quality PharmD fellow, so we should be the head for NABH clinical indicators. In most of the hospitals in India, we are only collecting all the reports and we are submitting to the quality team and they are presenting. And only you should know and what are all the real factors. And RCA-COP is nothing but root cause analysis and corrective and preventive action. So whenever I have mentioned you in my earlier slides to control and to proper planning of manpower to prevent the error. So whenever you address the dispensing error, you should know what's the main factor. It is not a factor with the pharmacist. So they may be busy with some other work. So they may get a prescription from in intensive care unit and they are busy with supplying medicine to intensive care unit. By the time we may get a patient from different floors. So that could be the cause of so many errors. So you should analyze what is the factor and what are all the ways to prevent, and you should not allow the committed error to happen again. So that is what the major problem. So if you just taken it away and you are reporting to the quality, you will forget about that and somebody will present and it is not going to be useful. So you should involve to the ground level to know what is the exact cause of an error and you should make the proper plan to prevent it again so that it will be a little more good and you should only able to present the reports whatever you've made. And so you should not only do the audit in your hospital, and it is opportunity to you to go outside because there are so many quality related forums are coming in India. Especially I could name few like CAHO and NABS Sector, QCI. They used to conduct various conferences. They really used to appreciate because whenever I go, I did not see more pharmacists to be involved in the quality services. So I encourage the people to involve who are completed, who are having the better knowledge and the quality. So regular training classes for the doctors and nurses again I'm pointing. Most of the hospitals having different doctors and nurses. So nurses attrition ratio will be 50% in most of the hospitals. So the fresh nurses will come, the experienced nurses will go off. So many doctors will get entered for their regular training classes. So it will be mandatory. You should make your proper manual and standard operating procedures. And it will be our responsibility to educate the newcomers what are all the standards, even write the prescription in a capitals and the dose, duration, all those things. These are a few quality related services you can do, and you should be the major part of formulary revision every year, so that you will get to know what are all drugs to be prescribed and what are all things not. And even as like SRIRAM sir mentioned, reporting area, so we should go once again, one step more than that, we should analyze the reason. So how the error is committed and how the ADR is occurred. Where is the problem? What is the problem? Is it related with the infusion? Is it related with the techniques, whatever we've used? Or either recently we have reported one adverse reaction where the test dose was not advised. And so we should analyze more and more so that the error will be minimized. It never committed again. So maintain the ward and crash cart medicines is the major part of quality activities by the clinical pharmacists. So during emergency, so since we are the one who is going to the ward, and it is our responsibility to see the crash carts medicine, it should be replaced proper time, the expiry medicines being checked, and sometimes the excess medicines they will give it in the crash cart. So we should know what are all the drugs to be there and how to use. You should educate all the nurses in a ward to get trained about using crash cart medicines. And mostly you should not get only trained, and you should spread the training to all the students. So that is a major part, and you should train your students and train clinical pharmacists until you by initiating various projects. And research, so research is a good area where we can work. So make your problems as projects. So that's my kind advice to the clinical pharmacists in and around the world, and make your problems as a project. Collect maximum number of data, not in a 10 or 100 or 200. Do collect maximum number of data so that your results will be unbiased. So your project should have the measurable outcome. So please use some quality related tools like Six Sigma, 5 years, or some Pareto chart, and so that it will be helpful to you where the problem is, how to overcome that. So when we minimize the error, what's the clinical and administrative outcome? So when you are designing the problem from your setup, definitely it will have the clinical or administrative implications. For example, I started working on antibiotic stewardship. So initially we have lack of support. So when we started doing the fourth project, now we have published the department-wise antibiotic guidelines for even trauma, for spine, for the arthroplasty, arthroscopy, burns. So it is a final outcome. So when we started the project at a first step, so no one knows what we are doing. So when I started doing it, when I started presenting it to the different forum in a hospital and outside the hospital, then they are having the interest to come. Then we are collaborating with all the team like infection control and antibiotic stewardship committee. So it would be helpful for us to make up the guidelines and then make them to follow. So whatever you do, please do document and please go for a publication, because these are all the things which will help you to grow to the next level. So my kind advice to all the pharmacists and budding pharmacists in a clinical setup and any other setup in India, please have the activities in the clinical and administration and quality and research. So don't always look on only the clinical part and being to be specialized in cardiac or cancer and all the things. Whatever the challenges which come to you, take those challenges as an opportunity and try to perform it well with the collaborative team, with the support of all the people, right from the top management to the lower person in a hospital, and try to improve the standards of the hospital as a pharmacist so that you will be recognized and registered and you will be irreplaceable. So this is what I can tell you all, and I hope my sessions will be useful for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Definitely, your session is superb, sir, today. For sharing your experience as a knowledge to our delegates. It's definitely a better platform for them. And your discussion is remarkable for us to mold ourselves to be an perfect pharmacist. And you had emphasis clearly about what are all the updates we have to do from our side to enter the pharma field as an efficient pharmacist. Yes, sir. So thanks a lot for your great time to sharing your valuable knowledge to us. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
So next, now we invite Mrs. Hemalata, Professor, Department of Pharmacy Practice, Nandha College of Pharmacy, to give an introduction about our resource person, Dr. JIBIN. Please, ma'am.
A pleasant morning to all. I feel delighted to invite our next speaker, Dr. JIBIN Matthew, Pharmacy Advisor, Boots UK, London, and we feel proud to say that he is alumni of Nandha College of Pharmacy, first batch of PharmD. He completed his graduation in 2015. He started his career as a clinical pharmacist at Fortis Memorial Hospital, Gurugram till 2018, and he worked as a clinical pharmacist at Manipal Hospitals, Dwaraka till 2019. Now, he is working as a pharmacy advisor, Walgreens Boots Alliance, London. He had received JCI Chapter Champion for Medication Management and its Users and Improve the Safety of High Alert Medication in 6th edition. During his career, he actively participated in hospital accreditation process and conducted NAPH surveillance audit in Fortis Memorial Research Institute in the year 2017 and NAPH Nursing Excellence, Emergency Excellence in Manipal Hospital in 2019. He is former member of Pharmacy and Therapeutic Committee and Antimicrobial Stewardship Working Group Committee. He has supervised more than 20 hospital research projects and he had published several papers in national and international journals. A very hearty welcome to you, JIBIN, for this proudful moment, and we request you to share your experience in your journey, what UK experts from an Indian PharmD graduates.
Please, JIBIN, sorry for the interruption. I request the delegates to put your question in our question box for having a nice panel discussion after JIBIN session. Please. Yeah, JIBIN, you can take your time.
Thank you so much. Warm good morning to everyone. So I'm so privileged and thankful to the Nandha College of Pharmacy. As the ma'am said, I'm the first batch of Nandha College of Pharmacy, successfully completed PharmD. in the year 2015, and the second batch in India as well. So Dr. SRIRAM and Dr. BRITTO has delivered excellent speech on what the clinical pharmacist has to do and what they are doing and what the future scopes they are looking forward. So currently, my session is moreover what the PharmD in UK they're expecting. So what the UK government and what the Council of UK is expecting from the PharmD. So I request Apollo James sir to share the screen for me. Thank you. So before I starting my session, I would like to tell the public that wherever we go and wherever we are placing our career, we need to speak up. That is the main important thing. We need to speak up to the consultant. We need to speak up to the quality members. We need to speak up to the higher authorities. Because if we lack in the speak, or we are very afraid to speak to the higher authorities, then the value of the pharmacist or the value of the clinical pharmacist will be diminished. So I urge everyone who are looking forward to working in the hospital or pharmacovigilance or companies, they need to speak. They need to speak. So once we are very able and very confident to speak to others, then the value of the clinical pharmacist will be in the top positions. So PharmD in UK. So I have prepared only a brief outline about my about this session, because I would like to hear many questions from the public, because I cannot within 15 minutes or to 20 minutes I cannot frame the whole the procedures, the licensing, the legislation of the PharmD in UK in a single PPT. So I would like to hear more from the public. What are the questions they're expecting? So PharmD in UK registering as a clinical pharmacist and what the UK is expecting. Before going into the session, I would like to share what is UK and how many countries they are comprised of. This is general information about the UK. So basically, UK comprised of 4 different countries, that is England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. So these are the 4 countries which comprises the entire United Kingdom, that is the Great Britain. So as we know, the Pharmacy Council of India is the council is responsible for the legislation. So here in UK, the General Pharmaceutical Council are the organs which regulates the pharmacist in the UK. So as PCI in India, here it's the GPHC, that is the General Pharmaceutical Council, which is the regulatory body in our UK. Next slide, please. So is pharmacy regulated in the UK? Will overseas pharmacy's qualifications be recognized? So before going to the next slide, if anyone would like to come to the UK, there is no particular examination like NAPLAS in the US. There is no examination in UK, because what the UK government and what the GPHC is, they are aware about the course is they need to be equivalent to their basic standards, the British standards. So once we are qualified as a PharmD graduates or MPharm graduates or BPharm graduates from any other country, but their priority is once they are entered into the European Union, they need to be equivalent to their basic standards. So that is the main thing. So there is no particular examination to qualify or to become an equivalent to the UK standards, but we need to do a course. So that I will going to describe in my coming slides. So the next slide, please. So if you wish to practice as a pharmacist in England, Wales, or Scotland, to register with you have to register with the General Pharmaceutical Council. And I will tell you how to register as a pharmacist in General Pharmaceutical Council. So there are several processes to go through the process. The first one, you have to complete an Overseas Pharmacist Assessment Program. That is called OSPAP. Just remember the name, OSPAP. OSPAP is the course you need to undergo during your registration process. That is Overseas Pharmacist Assessment Program. So once you enroll into this OSPAP program, you need to complete a period of pre-registration training as an internship. For over 53 weeks, you have to do an internship. So everything regarding this OSPAP, I will share in the next slide. So, and passing after this completion of this internship, you need to pass a registration exam set by the GPHC. So these are the 3 steps to basically become a pharmacist in the UK. So you have to enroll in the OSPAP program. Then you have to complete a pre-registration training, that is the internship, for a week or for a period of 53 weeks. And after that, you have to go through several exams called, which is conducted by the Pharmacy Council of the UK, that is GPHC. Next slide, please. So in the UK, the pharmacists qualified, the graduates who qualified in the Britain or in the European Union has to go through this section. So here, the successful completion of Great Britain accredited by a 4-year MPharm degree. So in UK, there is no BPharm, there is no DPharm, and even there is no PharmD also. But the recognized course for the pharmacy is the M-Pharmacy, which is 5-year course, 4-year plus the 1-year internship program, that is the pre-registration program. Then after their enrollment, they have to complete a 52 weeks program of the pre-registration training in the Great Britain, followed by they have to pass a registration assessment conducted by the GPHC. So this is the general information, a person who studied MPharm in the UK. This is the procedure. And in the next slide, so this is the persons like us who studied PharmD or MPharm or BPharm in other countries of Pakistan, Sri Lanka, or any other countries or India. So they have to go through this specified protocols. First of all, the level of qualification has been assessed by the UK NARIC. So for example, taking as me, so whenever I came from India to UK, the GPHC has to develop a UK NARIC. This is the responsible organization who evaluates our curriculum and the program what we have been done. So the UK NARIC is the National Academic Recognition and the Information Center for the United Kingdom. Then we have to go for a minimum degree duration of 3 hours of undergraduate, which is basically from BPharm. So in our country, BPharm is 4 years. So we are eligible for this criteria, second criteria. The third one, a minimum score of 7 in each category of the academic level IELTS is mandatory, which means for IELTS, the 4 modules, that is writing, speaking, listening, and these 4 modules, they have to pass minimum of 7 score in a single sitting. So 7, 7, 7, and 7 each, they need to be, has to be passed to eligible for the OSPAP program. Then after the successful completion of 1-year accredited overseas pharmacist assessment program, you have to continue like the others has to do. They have to successfully complete 52 weeks program of pre-registration training. That is around 1 year. You have to do a pre-registration training under a registered pharmacist in the UK. Then they have to pass a registration exam, which is conducted by the GPHC. So this is the basic criteria once non-European pharmacists enter into the European country. So this is the protocol and this is the process you have to follow. Next, please. So we will talk about the OSPAP and what is OSPAP all about. Overseas Pharmacist Assessment Program is a program which enable us to do a course which will be equivalent to the British standards of the pharmacy. So what we have to do is, you must have to be an application. You have to send an application to the General Pharmaceutical Council, which the application fee is around 631 pounds, which is something around Indian money 60,000. You have to this form because they need to assess our curriculum and they have to assess our experience and they need to assess our university and they have to assess everything. Basically, all the credentials they have to evaluate. So this is the basic fee they will be charged for us to evaluate before enrolling in the OSPAP program. Then, as I said before, the proof of your English proficiency, IELTS. So in a single sitting, you need to score a minimum score of 7. Then your original degree certificate has to send to the council, the GPHC council, and your certificate copy of your passport has to be sent to the council. Your updated CV about your pharmacy has to be sent to the pharmacy to the council, and your updated photo, a copy of your academic transcript. So this is very important. Your copy of your academic transcript has to be sent to the university from our university. For example, our university is Dr. MGR Medical University, suppose. Then from the university, they have to send to the GPC about the academic transfer. This is very important. Then a letter confirming your registration and the good standing certification has to be sent to the GPC, and a minimum of 2 reference detailing your personal and professional standing has to be sent to the GPC before enrolling into the OSPAP. So all these criteria we need to assess from the GPHC before enrolling in the OSPAP. Next, please. So in UK, there are 5 colleges or the university which provides OSPAPs. Not every pharmacy college, they won't provide the course for OSPAP. So only 5 colleges they will provide to do or to undergo OSPAP program. That is, one is the Aston University, University of Brighton, University of Hertfordshire, Kingston University London, and University of Sunderland. So these are the 5 universities which provide OSPAP program affiliated with the GPHC. So what are the positions which are after completion of this OSPAP course? What are the positions you can enroll in the UK? So this is a very important one. Next, please. So once you successfully completed your OSPAP course, you will be able to do, or you have to work as a community pharmacist, hospital pharmacist, and primary care pharmacist. And these are the 3 core areas which a pharmacist has to be evolved. And the jobs where your degree would be useful include, these are the such as other companies such as clinical research associate, you can work, higher education lecturer, then medical sales representative, medical science liaison, pharmacologist, process development scientist, regulatory affairs officer, research scientist, science writer, toxicologist. So these are the other job profile you can work once you completed as a pharmacist in the UK. So basically, community pharmacy, hospital pharmacists, and primary care pharmacists, the 90% of the pharmacists are working in these 3 specified areas. This is a very important question, and everyone is very keen to observe this slide, because how much you can expect to earn for UK pharmacy jobs. So in the next slide, I would like to, so there are basically different steps, or based on the experience, based on the evaluation, or based upon your credentials, they have set a band for the different jobs, and based on these bands, you will be paid. So the next slide, you will easy to see. So before the position title, the pharmacy technician, pharmacy entry level, pharmacy technician higher level, pharmacist, pharmacy technician specialist, pharmacy technician team manager, pharmacy specialist, then a pharmacist in advance, pharmacist team manager, and pharmacy consultant. So these are the different position titles. And see, this is the pay band of the NHS. NHS is the government of the UK. So the government of the UK has set up a few pay bands. So based on the experience, they have set the bands. So as a beginner, you will be in a band of 4. So based upon your examinations and based upon your experience, everything, the band will be upgraded. So the salary scale will also be upgraded based upon your experience. So as a fresher in the UK, as a pharmacy technician, you will be getting around 16 to 20,000 pounds per year, which is around 16 lakhs to 20 lakhs per year. This is the minimum wage you can expect from an UK to the pharmacy. So if you have any doubt regarding this pay scale or any other things, you can ask, because I can't describe everything in a single scale, because there are many. If you want to know more about the OSPAP, I will share this slide for you. Or if you go for everything regarding the GPHC Council, there is a website called GPHC Website Council. If you go through this, everything regarding the GPHC and the OSPAP, how to become a registered pharmacist, how to become a registered pharmacist from a non-European country, everything has been beautifully described there. So I hope this section will be good for you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask the questions. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Jibin, for showing your path to our delegates to reach UK very nicely. As per your words, whatever we studied, scored is not a matter. Sharing our knowledge in our field is very important. For that, the communication skill is very essential for everyone. So thanks a lot, dear. So many questions are raised up by our delegates to go through by your way. Okay, so we will discuss one by one. Now it's the time for panel discussion moderators. We will start up with Dr. Haja Sharif, head for the Department of Pharmacy Practice, to put your question to the panel for discussion with our resource person. Please, sir.
It's muted.
Sir, your audio muted, sir. Please
Yeah.
unmute.
So now the discussion is to Dr. SRIRAM, sir. Sir,
Yes, sir. Yeah, tell me, sir.
so in many countries, with the doctors, nurses, and paramedics physically present in the emergency, isolation wards and quarantine centers, pharmacists can hold on to this end and can ease the patient distress by providing triaging and basic consultants through telemedicine, taking the burden off the doctors and health systems. Will this provoke the valuable role of hospital pharmacists in near future, sir?
What I understood from your question is whether telemedicine, if pharmacists are involved in that, whether it will be helpful. Isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So telemedicine is good only, but only thing is you cannot feel that empathy and do the things. See, when you do some counseling or when you talk to the patients regarding your regarding their disease or drugs in person, that is something different rather than telling it through our phone and making them understand. Because people understand in different modes. When you say that yes, you have to take only once daily, right? Only
Yes,
when
sir.
they ask whether I have to take it before food, after food, you will be telling. Otherwise, if you keep on talking a lot of points over the phone, they will not remember everything. So
Yes, yes,
telemedicine is good. I don't say no, but
Okay.
it cannot create that empathy in both the sides. That is what I feel. It's my
So
personal
how
opinion.
that role of so how that clinical pharmacist role over there, sir?
Clinical pharmacists from the drug information center, they can operate this one also. That is possible. See, the clinical pharmacists who are working in the drug information center or patient counseling center, they can be directed about all these things. Suppose if telemedicine queries are there, can be directed to them and they can see in abroad countries what do they do is they give a time whenever your prescriptions are given to them, right? They take
Yes,
some
sir.
time to go through the prescription to get the medications and then prepare the counseling points, label the medicine, everything. They take time and do it.
Yes,
Maybe
sir.
after 5-10 minutes, they ask them to come back and they counsel you, all those things.
Yeah,
Even
yes, yes.
disease-wise counsels are kept ready. Sometimes if they are not having time to get counsel also, they give the patient information leaflets pertaining to the disease and the drugs.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely, sir. So the pharmacist role has continued to change over the last decade, and with our new doctor of pharmacy curriculum, it is very much geared to patient care. So are the pharmacists are essential first-line caregiver to provide medication information and management of their medication therapies. What is your perspective, sir?
Yeah, of course, pharmacists, as you rightly said, the role of the pharmacists have changed a lot now.
Yes, sir.
Before they were just dispensing it. Now they are into the hospital, they are into the auditing, they are into ADR monitoring, lot of activities. Once a clinical pharmacist, if you see, when the pharmacy course was started and the first batch has come out in 2014. So this particular batches, no, they were not absorbed very well.
Yes,
Maybe they
yes,
would have gone abroad, all those things are fine. But in Indian
sir.
context, they were not absorbed well. But now, if you see the situation, each and every hospital, our hospital itself, we have got around 6 clinical pharmacists working here. And most of the hospitals in Coimbatore, they have appointed clinical pharmacists, especially those who are in NABH accredited hospitals. So they have got clinical pharmacists. The number of people who are appointed as clinical pharmacists have really increased a lot when compared to previous decade. So that itself is a good sign. And not only as a clinical pharmacist, they are going into regulatory, they are going into clinical trials, they are going into council. What is that? Usually they say that medical coding. Lot of areas are there where they go and work, and for which the base of this family is really helpful.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for valuable information. Thank you, sir.
Britto, after completing your PharmD at the time when you stepped for job, what made you to get a job? And as a successful clinical pharmacist, can you share your experience for the upcoming fresh PharmD graduates at the time of entering, how they should be?
The one answer is confidence. And I know there are so many clinical pharmacists are there in India, and they will perform more than everyone. And we should have strong confidence and commitments. So these are all the key factors I would advise to bring you high, because we should not fear to face the challenges, because when you are being in a clinical setup, we doesn't know what come first, what challenge will come to you. So we should be brave enough to take hold all the challenges and try to prove ourselves. So that's the key point for success when I get into my profession.
And what are the things the students need to concentrate while learning infectious disease, as you are seeing various cases and you are in a trauma care center? What is your experience in that?
So first, I would advise, like most of us know about different standards. For example, CDC, WHO, IDSA, global. There are different standards, guidelines, and regulations are there to control the infections and how to practice antibiotics. So what I would advise is we should know our present clinical situation. So what microbe I'm being with. So what can cause UTI in our center, and what can cause SSI. Since I'm working in a major trauma center, we do a lot of surgeries. So we know when to take samples. We should know, and we should have the standard procedures for how to take samples, when to take samples, and how to work on antibiotic policies. There is something called antibiogram in each and every hospitals. It will give you a lot of information about what common pathogen we are dealing with, what are all the most common sensitive and resistant pattern. Sometimes it may be directly contrast to a lot of international literatures. So we should acquire the knowledge from standard literatures, but only we can make policies and we can work after knowing the pathogen where we are living with. So to work on antibiogram, to work on antibiotic stewardship, I would recommend to know your local policies, local procedures, local pathogen, local sensitivity and resistance, because it may differ from institution to institute, because the microbe in ICU in our center, which may differ from different hospital and which may differ from different center. So I should know about my pathogen well, about the pathogen sensitivity resistant well, and I should match with the standard guidelines to make the proper manual and standard operating procedures and treatment guidelines for our hospital.
Thank you, Britto.
I'd like to add one more point here. The de-escalation of antibiotics is also again a role of the clinical pharmacist and as a part of the antibiotic stewardship program. Of course, the microbiologist's opinion has to be sought. The doctor who is working as microbiologist, without his consent, the doctors are not supposed to write the higher antibiotics, or otherwise called as restricted antibiotics. Especially the colistin and use of carbapenem group of antibiotics are very, very widely being used without checking the sensitivity pattern. That is one area where we need to concentrate more, and clinical pharmacists have to have, as Dr. BRITTO was telling, you need to, according to the particular hospital sensitivity pattern studies, we need to go about with the analytical antibiogram.
Thank you, sir. And one more thing, Jibin, can you share your experience after completing your course at the time when you are entering into the job? How you faced, and what was the scenario, and what you're going to share with the upcoming parties?
So initially, basically when I completed in 2015, I feel so challenged because most of the hospital authorities, they don't know about the PharmD, what the exact job profile of the PharmD, and how PharmD can be succeeded in the hospital, and what is the specific key areas the PharmD has to work on. So as I said, confidence and we need to speak. That is the main thing. So we need to apply our knowledge, and we need to be very specifically, we need to be confident about our key areas. So where I have to work on, what is our main role and what is the main responsibilities. So initially my first hospital was Fortis Hospital. So it is a JC accredited hospital. So there is a severe lack of clinical pharmacists in that particular hospital. So once I have introduced in the hospital, the impact of the PharmD has been implemented. So many pharmacists and many interns came, and they have been posted in the different units on the ICUs, in the NICUs, in the different wards, chemotherapy, every ward. So they got the opportunity to explore, and they came to know what is the useful and the importance of PharmD and as a clinical pharmacist in the hospitals. So during 2005, there is a drastic change from 2015 to 2020. Now, most of the hospitals, they came to know the importance of the PharmD and the importance of clinical pharmacists in the hospitals. So this is the main thing I noticed, and this is the thing which I have faced personally in my career.
Next question is to JIBIN. Does the clinical pharmacist field in UK requires the same skill in India, or any additional skills are needed?
Sorry, any additional?
Skills are needed.
So first of all, I would tell that the level of Indian and the level of UK is extremely different. So what the pharmacist doing here is extremely different from there. In few hospitals, as Dr. BRITTO said, in Ganga and in PSG and in Ramakrishna, they have the pharmacist has the role to change the drug if they have the authority to change the drug after speaking with the doctors and the consultants. But here, if any drug or any antibiotic or any anticoagulant needs to be added in their treatment chart, without the consideration of the pharmacist's knowledge intervention, they won't change. And every time any prescriptions has to be gone through the pharmacist or the clinical pharmacist, the desktop. So once the doctor prescribed any medication, it suddenly pop-ups in the clinical pharmacist desktop. So they can make irrelevant changes. If the pharmacist is not willing to change the dose, or they have to dose modification, the doctor has to change. So this is the basic thing. And as a clinically, we in UK, we follow BNF, the British National Formulary, and the NICE guidelines. So everything regarding how to change a drug and how to modify a drug and how to treat a particular vulnerable patients, everything has been mentioned in the guidelines. And also, one thing I need to add up here: the people or the patients or the customers in the UK, they are well known, aware about their treatment protocol, and also they are well known about their medications. For example, if any patient is coming to the pharmacy and taking their medications, and they will check before they will receive the medication. For example, if Remipryl. So the patient is aware that if you're taking a Remipryl for a long time, they are prone to produce a dry cough. So this is an example. So the difference between the Indian people and the UK peoples they are much more well knowledgeable about their drugs. So this is the basic difference which I noticed in my initial time.
The next question: what PharmD can play as a pharmacy advisor in UK?
Basically, pharmacy advisor job is to counsel all the patients which comes to the clinical setup and comes to the pharmacy. The role of the pharmacy advisor is to counsel to the patient and make aware that this medication and what is the importance and what is the mechanism, the basic mechanism, and if it is contraindicated or if what are the possible side effects. Everything about a drug is the responsibility of a pharmacy advisor to make aware about the patients. This is the basic importance of a pharmacy advisor. And also, the pharmacy advisor from India, we have the right to assist the pharmacist during vaccination. So here, all the vaccinations, travel vaccinations is done by the pharmacist. And as a pharmacy advisor, we can assist the pharmacist also.
Next question. You have mentioned 5 universities are giving OSPAP training.
Yeah.
Whether any additional fees has to be paid, or during that 1 year, 52-week, any internship stipend they will receive?
Yeah, this is a disheartened question. Actually, I would like to say, as an initial registration fee to assessment our curriculum, they have to pay a fee of £631. This is the only registration fees. So once we have completed that registration and successfully, then we have to enroll in the OSPAP. So in this OSPAP, they will charge around 11,000 pounds, which are around something 10 lakh or 11 lakh for the 1 year course. And after the successful completion of everyone's face is changing. So don't worry, after the completion of the pharmacist, within 1 hour, you can take back this money much more. So don't worry about this fees. And after this pre-registration program with the internship, the company or the hospital or the NHS will pay for you.
Given the experience which you gained in India, whether it helped for you to enter there, and what is your sharing relates with that? Actually,
Definitely, yes.
you worked in Fortis and then Venkateshwar also, right?
Yeah, Venkateshwar Manipal, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, definitely, yes. The knowledge is always a knowledge, whether irrespective of the countries. So the basic differences is the legislations and the rules and regulations, and in some things we have the freedom to work with the doctors. But in India, what I feel is they always underestimate the value of clinical pharmacist. But in here, what we have gained and there is a freedom to express our concerns. There is a freedom to express our views and knowledge. That is the basic and a huge difference between India and this country.
Okay, this is for Dr. Britto. As Jibin said, as in India, there is other healthcare professionals, the doctors, they are seeing families in a low esteem level. What is your experience with other healthcare professionals in your hospital?
It is always depends how we are being and how we are taking it. So that matters a lot. And as like any other profession, even we used to face a lot of troubles. And I cannot say it's 100%. It depends on the place where you work. And the place where I'm working now, it's different. The place where others are working, it's all depends on us. What I feel, the way how we are taking it is not only for the clinical pharmacy profession. And don't always feel that all the consultants are being recognized, all the nurses, head nurses are being recognized, all the junior doctors are being recognized. Clinical field is the one where it will teach us day by day. So every day when the hospital is open, we are going to learn new things. It is not like the person in a hospital known everything, even the dean of the hospital. So it is depends. I never face those things as insults or the problems. I taken all those things as a challenges. So I'll make those things as an opportunity to prove myself. So problem, if you take as a problem, it is a problem. So take those problems as a projects, take that as an opportunity to do and explore yourself in the field. That's what I can tell.
Okay, thank you. This is for the legend of clinical pharmacy, Dr. Sriram, sir. Sir, what is your advice for the upcoming students, that too in post-COVID world, how they need to equip and how to overcome all the barriers in the clinical setup?
Yeah, few of the students were asking, I was just going through the questions here in the panel chat box. Few of them were asking what type of courses we can do. They doesn't know what they have to do during this lockdown. Because as a student, once they are not permitted to continue their internship, so what other activities they can do? The one thing is, as a preceptor from the teacher's side, they can give some simulated cases and make them work on all the areas. That is, what are the competency levels they want them to increase. Simulated cases can be given on that, and they can work on that. Another thing is, they can do some courses either on pharmacovigilance or on medication safety, drug safety. Through Coursera, you can do that. because we are making our students to do that, especially the 5th year and 6th year pharmacy students. They are doing a lot of courses during this lockdown period. We have registered them into Coursera. They can do n number of more than around 3,400 courses are there in Coursera, whichever they feel relevant to them. Not only that, they can have even a few courses away from the subject. Say, for example, how to do smart work than hard work, artificial intelligence, about to know about this Excel sheet, making Excel, and a lot of different types of courses are there in Coursera. So, my experience, we are doing that, and it is really helpful for them.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. This is for Dr. Britto. How PharmDs they can enhance their knowledge in infection control committee at the time when they're entering into hospital? What hospital expects relates with infection control committee from PharmDs?
Yeah, first thing is we need to work more number of cases. So each hospital has a different practice. So for example, even in a single unit, in a single department with multiple units. So there are two things. One is like guidelines based practice, and the second one is professor based practice. So the one unit will practice based on the guideline, what it says, and then the one unit will practice based on the professor, what he or she used to practice. So we need to find out the difference in each unit in a particular department, and we should try to compare ourselves, and we should analyze how it deviates from the standard guidelines, and is it needed for our local practice and modified based on the clinical needs of the particular patient in our unit. So we need to analyze ourselves first. It's not with single or 10 cases. So you need to take a little more time to absorb what the exact practice is going on. So you have a time to present in a different committee meetings. For example, first you can approach in your pharmacotherapeutic committee meeting. So it will be recognized by the chairperson and different units of the different heads of the units. Then you will be slightly going to the medical audit meeting where you can project that one as an antibiotic audit. Then slowly it will end up with the antibiotic stewardship committee activity. So it is all depends. The audits and observations, whatever you are doing, first thing is you need to observe. Then the second one is you need to collect a lot of data, which no one can say no, with the proper understanding of standard guidelines. The third thing is you need to present it to the various forums so that everyone will get to know. At last, even antibiotic stewardship committee or the hospital infection committee will call you for a presentation. So these are all the things which we need to do. Then one other thing, being on administration as a PharmD candidate, we know what are all drugs to be used in a different part of the hospital. For example, in my ICU use more meropenem and colicin, I no need to worry because we have a very proper justification for what to be used, how to be used, because based on the antibiogram, what we have, we know. But the same thing in a general ward use or request for a meropenem, we need to go for a work. So even you can control from your pharmacy end itself, and always there is a two-way process. One thing is prospective and one thing is retrospective. So retrospectively, when you do an audit, since already they have practiced, you're not going to change anything. When you go and work with the prospective cases with proactiveness, with the high knowledge, with the teamwork, then you will be recognized. And that is what even I would advise. Observe, collect the data, present to the different forum, then you can change the policies.
Thank you.
Okay, hi, I'm Gladys. Thank you so much for your sharing your valuable information and your experiences. I'm here to share through the questions that is shared by our participants. And the first question is to Dr. Brito. How effective is to take an MBA course after completing PharmD?
It is depends on the person who have interested. So if they really want to sit on the top, it would be ideal. And always it is not advisable to do the course. It comes from the practical experience. You work with the administrative team, you work with the negotiation team, you work with the different marketing personalities. Your experience will teach you better than your degrees. So that is what I can tell, because I did not do my MBA, but still I can better negotiate the prices I can control the inventory plans. And so even its found is enough, because we have study hospital pharmacy services where it will teach how to calculate supply lead time, how to control the inventory, how to make ABCVED analysis, what and all the different hospital pharmacy services you can write, because even our curriculum taught everything. It doesn't need the separate pharmaceutical MBA course to be administrated for the pharmacy. Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. And this question is also for Dr. Britto. One of the participants asked, administration in clinical pharmacy is a little bit difficult to understand. Can you please explain it briefly?
Yeah, exactly. Because administration and clinical and quality and research, these are different domains. We cannot equalize it. When you work on clinicals, it will teach you only the clinical aspect. When you be on administration, with the clinical knowledge, with the proper understanding of the problem, whatever you have learned from the clinical setup, that can be resolved only when you can be the better administrator. For example, I tell you, so we have a problem in one of our theater where our pharmacist has dispensed the wrong medicine. So clinically, I could understand the medicines was an dispensing error. We have raised the incident report and we have submitted to the quality. So when I was not an administrative side, I have reported it, and that's it. It's filed, and the idea like a medication incident, a wrong dispensing been reported. But when you are being an administrator setup, you could get to know what could be the exact cause for this error. So when I'm taking my administrative position, I started analyzing. So what is the peak time? So there are so many dispensing errors are happening in a peak time. Then I started doing an audit on turnaround time. For example, in my pharmacy is running for morning 7 to evening 10. So most probably the error rate is maximum at the time of 10 to 2. So when you analyze, you could tell me the reason, because 10 to 12 is a very peak time. I'm getting intent from different ward. I'm getting so many patients getting entered into the pharmacy where there is a lack of manpower. So when I'm doing the started analysis from the administrator side, I could find out the reason. So manpower shortage is the main cause of the medication error more than all the things. So even we are doing double check, we are proper reviewing the prescription of everything. So that is how I have mapped. So administration as a clinical person, it is always equal. It is not difficult, but both are different domains. Then the second example I can give you for stockouts. So what drugs to be stocked when as a managerial person can sit on administration in a pharmacy. For example, in India, there are so many pharmacies having non-pharmacists as pharmacy managers. That has to be changed. And only the pharmacist knows what are the essential drugs. For example, I can tell you, we are the one who will consume large quantity of narcotics. So most of the narcotic drug can cause respiratory depression. So we need to have antidote naloxone, has to be kept in our trash can, that has to be made. So, but we cannot expect the naloxone has to be used at every time. But I don't know the incident when it had happened. So when I'm being in administration, taking the decision of my narcotic should have a naloxone as an antidote for the opioids what I have used. That is how we need to map. So I can avoid the stockouts. I can make the proper availability. I can give the clinical benefit to be the better administrator. I mean for that. Yes.
Yeah, and this question is for Dr. Jibin. One of the participants is asking about what is meant by pay band.
So pay band is basically the government is setting a pay band based upon your experience. If you're a fresher, the pay band will start from 2 and the maximum is exceed to 8B. So based upon experience, it starts from 2. Then after the completion of the course, it directly goes to 3, then 4. That is the pay band. So that is the NHS, the government of the UK has been set the pay band based on our experience and also based upon our eligibility criteria.
Okay, and the second question is also to Dr. Jibin. What about industrial pharmacist field in UK? Do they require any additional skill sets for that?
The same I already mentioned in the slide. So apart from this community, the hospital and the primary care, once we have been registered as a pharmacist, we can jump into this, say into the industry. So the position will be the toxicologist, the pharmacologist in their clinical research area, and all the manufacturing companies. They will be easily hiring these pharmacists. Once only the problem is they need to be qualified here. They need to be registered here. Until and unless they won't hire any graduates from India. So only we need to undergo the pharmacist program to be registered with the UK legislation, and based upon our interest, we can choose the area, scope of area, such as manufacturer or in the community or in the hospitals.
Okay, and this question is also Dr. Jibin. Is it possible to pursue any master's degree like MD or MS in UK after completing PharmD?
Most of my friends and most of my juniors, they prefer to do MS course, such as in pharmacology, on pharmacoepidemiology, on pharmacoeconomics. So I personally, I won't prefer to do this MS course directly, because it may change from what we have been we learned and what we have acquired from our knowledge. So this is basically why the people are choosing this MS program, is they need to come the European or Canadian or in the US by a visa, that's a student visa. They need to enter into the particular country. Then they have to convert it into the PR. So the family and everything can be sustained there. So for MD or MS program, yeah, after the completion of the course, we have a specified, like, for example, if you want to concentrate on the cancer, on the chemotherapy, here is a company called Macmillan Cancer Institute. They provide the specialized course after the pharmacist program. This is an example only. If you want to do in a dialysis or a kidney transplant, so based on different modules, they have a specialized course or specialized program to undergo after the pharmacist registration.
Okay, and this question is also for Dr. Jibin. One of the participants is keenly asking, can we apply for Prometric exam without any experience, that is after completing the course?
Prometric exam in the UK?
Yep.
No, there is no specific course or there is no specific examination after the PharmD, because they need to completely go through their basic British standards. That's what the UK government wants. There is no Prometric examinations like in the Arab countries, what they are doing. We don't have any Prometric exams.
Okay. And this question is also for Dr. Jibin. What is the scope of research in UK and how we should process it for?
Yeah, research, we have a lot of scope. Apart from if you don't want to work as a pharmacist in the community or the hospital, there is a wide range of scope as a research, because as you know, the Oxford University in the UK is developing vaccines for the COVID-19. So a lot of pharmacists from the community, they have been changed into the research manufacturing companies, because once this pandemic or anything happened, they need a huge number of pharmacists as a pharmacologist or the toxicologist. They need to assess the once the drug has been introduced in the body. They need a lot of 24/7 working people to assess their the variations in the body. So research is a very good options in here in the UK.
Okay. One of the participants want to know more about the OSPAP. So can you give the website that you had told before?
Yeah, I will. It's very easy. OSPAP, if you go to Google, you just write OSAP, a big PDF will come. You can download and you can go through, or else go to the General Pharmaceutical Council, General GPHC. You can easily find the OSPAP course. In the left side, there is a registration for the non-European pharmacist. You can just click everything you will be came to know. There is no need of webinar like this. Everything you came to know about the OSPAP and what to do, each and everything.
Okay, I think you already answered this, but one of the participants, a student is asking, what do the hospital recruitment board expects when a fresh graduate approach to any hospital as a clinical pharmacist posting?
Is this a question to me?
Yes, to Dr. Jibin.
If somebody comes from non-European countries like India, they won't hire as a pharmacist in the hospital or even in companies. They have to work under a registered pharmacist until and unless they will fulfill their OSPAP course or any equivalent course. So still, I am also under a registered pharmacist supervision because I'm still need to fulfill. I'm just undergoing the OSPAP course, so I need time. So it may take time to fulfill the course. All these parameters has to be fulfilled: the academics, the transcript, and even the IELTS. Everything has to be fulfilled, and then only we need to be updated as a registered pharmacist.
Yeah, this is also for Dr. Jibin. One of the participants is asking your email ID. You can directly answer them from your Zoom question answer session.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, one more question, Jibin. Is there any scholarship programs available to be qualified as a clinical pharmacist in UK?
There is no scholarship for the OSPAP, but there will be scholarship for the MS programs, masters. If you're doing for masters, if you're looking for specifically for pharmacologist or as a MS masters in pharmacoepidemiology, they will provide scholarship based on your experience and based upon your clinical score in the university from the university. Yeah,
okay,
but not for the OSPAP.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Jibin.
For BRITTO, what role that a clinical pharmacist can play to reverse antibiotic resistance?
Reverse, I'm sorry?
To reverse antibiotic resistance in a patient.
To reverse, yeah.
Yes.
This is a very good question, and it has been discussed in a different forum. So my experience on reversing antibiotic resistance is a proper use. So most probably the higher end antibiotics are being used empirically in India in most of the setup. Even in a community setup, they started using meropenem, and it is highly against the law because there are a lot of rules and regulations from the government of India in place to control the resistant rate. So as a clinical pharmacist, we should ensure the proper use of antibiotics and restrict the higher end use of antibiotics. Because when I started practicing my career as a clinical fellow, the use of ceftriaxone is more, and it is replaced by piperacillin tazobactam. Now it's replacing by meropenem. So nowhere the drugs like ceftriaxone and piperacillin tazobactams are getting effective, and it's getting more resistance because the microbe which was sensitive to ceftriaxone nearly 90 to 100% is not listening. What even we could not have the sensitivity for even 10% of ceftriaxone or third generation cephalosporins. So the one thing is proper use, and if you're working in a big hospital setup, and you should have your proper restricted antimicrobial policy. So what are all the drugs, antibiotics to be used in with caution, and you should start doing a lot of audit on empirical use or specific use and prophylactic use of antibiotics. And prophylactic use of higher end antibiotics should be highly restricted in that time. Then I wanted to explain few cases where even we could not get an answer even by reading a lot of guidelines. See, the patient is getting met with an accident or meeting a trauma in a different country, and the patient used to be treated over there for 10 to 15 days, and then he's traveling to Delhi and he started having the treatment, and then he's on the way from Hyderabad, he started having 5 days treatment. So most probably he'll be trying all the antibiotics in the world. So at last he's reaching our center and we don't know what to do and how to do. So what we used to do is like proper hand hygiene policies and admitting patient for a repeated debridement and washing the bad tissues to come out, and using the antibiotics as a weapon, whatever we have with us. And in most of the groups and most of the forums are encouraging all the clinical people to use the newer antibiotics. Please share all the information with the proper justification. So when you started asking justification for the use of antibiotics, your antibiotic usage will come down. So that is what the clinical pharmacist in different hospital has to initiate lot of audit related with the antibiotic practice. So what it could be like how prophylactically, how empirically, how specifically we are using. So if the empirical usage are high, you should ask for justification, the reason why they are using the antibiotics. Even you should make the policy for the restricted antibiotics to be used as a prophylactic, unless otherwise the clinical scenario is justified. So one thing is, we need to initiate a lot of audit as a clinical pharmacist, and you should make the policies and protocol, how to be used, when to be used, and you should ask for you should make the justification form, and you should request your doctors to fill all the things. And when I personally work on this antibiotic stewardship, I faced a lot of problems on sample collection and transportation. For example, we have a lot of patients. We are having very busy OPD. Even per year, we have 2 to 2.5 lakh of OPD patients to visitors. When I ask the patient to go for urine culture, the patient will go to the lab. The patient will get the container, and they will straight away go to bathroom, and they will take urine samples, and they will talk to all their relatives for half an hour, and then they will go somewhere for a tea, coffee, and then they will come and give their sample to the lab. It is highly restricted because it grows already a lot of pathogens in that. When it's entered the lab itself, it enter with the contaminant sample. That's the one thing has to be restricted. So proper collection, who can collect, how the samples to be collected, what advice can be given before the samples get collected. We may feel that it is none of the business of the pharmacist, but when the report comes, you should not treat the report in as report. You should know what happened, how happened, and then only you can differentiate the sample could be contaminated. Because I could see in certain patients, E. coli growth only sensitive to meropenem and digicycline. I'll straight away feel that it could be highly contaminated. Then when I will go and ask the patient how the samples to be collected, he will explain the whole history. So this is what it had happened, and then even the lab people, they doesn't know, because then I started initiating the audit and turnaround time. So when the thing was sample culture sensitive was advised, how the sample was collected, when it's transported. Then the second one is always don't prefer the higher end antibiotics at a first time. So put for the baseline antibiotics, because we know most probably in our hospital E. coli will be clepsy. So you know in your setup what are all the different growth in a different cultures. So I can predict, I can assume nearly 50 to 60% of my urine cultures growth clepsy, and nearly 60 to 70% of my clepsis in E. coli will be sensitive to fluoroquinolones. So empirically or prophylactically, I can start with the fluoroquinolones. I can wait for the culture sensitivity report. And even if you are asking, requesting your microbiologist for the rapid culture report, they can give even within 12 hours. They can give you it is a gram negative or gram positive cocci, so that you can confirm it again before you use the higher end antibiotics. Within 3 days or 2 to 3 days, you can get the report. And then again, what the standard guidelines your microbiologist is following to put a disc. So each microbiologist has a different practice of placing a disc. Even some of the hospital for gram negative bacteria, they will put only meropenem, and they will put all the higher end drugs. They will start only with the cephalosporin, sulbactam, piperacillin, tazobactam, and meropenem and avibactam and all kind of things. You should coordinate with your microbiologist, and you should know what guidelines they are following to place a disc, which techniques they are following, because each and everything is matters from the starting of sample collection to starting of an antibiotic. So then the third thing is clinical correlation, and how your consultant or your unit doctors are selecting the drugs from the culture report. First thing is, you should know whether it is infected or colonized or contaminant. So you should have the proper knowledge before advising or selecting antibiotic from the culture reports. Then the second thing is, you should know, because the patient in a hospital who is eating egg biryani, no need to go for a meropenem injection, because it is highly asymptomatic. You should analyze the clinical factors, whether the patient has elevated counts or decrease in counts, symptomatic fever. You should analyze what if the patient is catheterized. The first thing is, you try to remove the catheter more than treating the patient with a higher an antibiotic. It's indicated, because your contaminated catheter can cause lower urethral infections. So that everything it's matters. You need to go for a patient side. You need to justify whether it is contaminant or it is a growth, or then the third thing is, you need to select the antibiotic. So whenever you are selecting the antibiotic as a clinical pharmacist who had completed PharmD or practice in M-Pharm, you should know the kinetic parameters. So if they are giving 5-6 drugs, and you should know the kinetic parameter, you should know the penetration. So in a lower urinary tract infections, mostly you can use this nitrofurantoin or fluoroquinolones. It will be effective. When you use for intra-abdominal infection, where piperacillin, tazobactam, and meropenem will be effective, you should know what antibiotics to be selected from the culture sensitive report. It is not like what's the high cost drug you can select to the patients for the treatment. You should know the kinetic profile of the patient, profile of the drug, and you should know proper clinical area where the patient is getting infected. You should know the penetration property of the drug, so that when you are putting all your mind, so you should ensure the properly it's been advised for the sample collection. The sample was collected in a proper way. It is analyzed in a proper way. The culture reports was screened and clinical correlation has been made, and the doctor should have the proper justification before they are starting the drug to the patient. So it is all the clinical pharmacist activity. It is not only the placing the report and choosing the drug. You should know all the things in detail before you select the antibiotic for the particular proven infection for the particular patient. So this is what I am doing and what I feel. So for all the things, you need to have a high knowledge. You need to review a lot of literatures. You need to do a lot of audit for a basic understanding, because when you're going and presenting in an antibiotic committee meeting or infection control meeting about the laboratory services, it's really highly contraindicated. The first thing is you need to talk to your microbiologist. You should talk to your lab director that you have wanted to initiate the project, something like that, since because this and all the clinical indications were not justified for the patient to start this particular antibiotic. So you should discuss with the different departments, and you should make the multidisciplinary team to be involved. You should add one nurse, you should add on your microbiologist, you should add your infection control nurse. And so it is a teamwork. So antibiotic stewardship, basically it's not been only by a single person. As a pharmacist, I should play the very vital role to control the proper use of antibiotics. So when you practice everything in a proper way, your resistance rate will be very low for all the infections for your hospital. In certain cases are there, so we cannot do anything. Those cases which I don't like to discuss, because already the patient will be multiple exposure to the antibiotic. That also they can admit in the first time to the hospital. You should inquire about the previous admissions, previous antibiotic exposures, and all the things you can collect. You can talk to your consultants or microbiologists. You can come for the justification what do we start next. So these are all things have to be practiced to reverse back the antibiotic resistance.
Thank you, pharmacies and the clinical pharmacists. They are having a very big, very great opportunities they are having in trauma care center and hospitals when they play their role in antimicrobial stewardship. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other,
Yeah, one more question to Dr. Sriram from our participant, Dr. Robin Rajan. Nowadays, PharmD graduates are welcomed by MNCs for MSL jobs, that is medical science liaison jobs. And what is your take on PharmD graduates on medical affair field?
Yeah, it's really good. See, in abroad countries, it's already in well structured format is there. Yeah, all of them have got the patients have to go for health insurance. So many pre-structured things are there. But now the MNCs have started taking our Indian pharmacists for all those things. It is really good because we study more about this safety of drugs. See, as a pharmacist, if you see the entire syllabus, starting from the active pharmaceutical ingredient, you know, till it reaches the patient hand, that is the end user. Everywhere, all the levels we pharmacists are involved. So very well, it is. We have to appreciate that if these MNCs are really helping us in taking this pharmacists into medical affairs. We are really fortunate to go, and we have the right people for that.
Okay, sir. And the last question to Dr. Sriram. Can you suggest some online certification courses for PharmD graduates?
A lot of clinical research organizations are conducting from Hyderabad, from Mumbai. A lot of clinical research organizations are conducting courses on clinical trials, on pharmacovigilance. A lot of courses are there.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Your voice is not that much audible. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe lunchtime.
Yeah. So
I think for Jibin it is breakfast time. It's not taking maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So what is the question for which we are?
Yeah, online certification courses.
Yeah,
for
online
PharmD
certification courses. See, whatever be the certification I'm telling you, the knowledge is important more than the certificates. Right? I know people only with B Farm, they have come up very good in postdoctoral degree still searching for job. Okay. So it all depends on your knowledge. It's not the certificate. So certificates can give you a platform to appear for the interview, all those things. As I told you, nowadays this Coursera courses are there, a lot of good courses. Your certificate is also there. There itself, they have got 6 months courses, 1 year course. As I told you earlier, this Hyderabad, Bombay-based CROs are there, clinical research organizations are there. When I discussed with the clinical research organizations for whether you value for all these certificates, they said only 10 to 20% value will be given for all these certificates, and more than that, 80% would be depending on the knowledge during the interview. How will they be able to answer the questions or the queries asked by the candidates?
Okay, thank you, sir. We have come to the last session of this panel discussion. I'm here to deliver the vote of thanks.
Before that, I'd like to
okay,
ask
sir.
one question because I've seen
Yeah.
the chat box. One of the questions which they have asked is whether the PharmD students are eligible to appear for, or they're eligible for the job opportunities what the other people are having, like MPharm, BPharm, all those people are having as per the notification from the government. For them, for that person who had asked that question, I want to make it very clear to all of you that during the month of March, the Health Ministry notification has come officially announcing that PharmD qualification is eligible for all the job opportunities which the other people are enjoying. They, for example, DPharm or MPharm, the drug inspector, all those eligibility criteria are there. Those people, whatever job opportunities they are eligible for, all those things, PharmD is also eligible. That Health Ministry notification officially has come. So please pass on the message and let us all try to make use of it.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Let's conclude this with a vote of thanks. We take this opportunity to express our sincere thanks to the management, Sri Nandha Educational Trust, for providing the constant support and facilities to organize this panel discussion. And we would like to propose a hearty vote of thanks to our resource persons, Dr.S.SRIRAM, Professor and HOD, Department of Pharmacy Practice, Sri Ramakrishna Institute of Paramedical Sciences, College of Pharmacy, Coimbatore, Dr.BRITTO, DURAI, clinicist, GANGA Medical Care and Hospitals, Privacy Advisor, UK, London, for gracing today's occasion. And thank you all for your valuable and informative addresses. And we wish to express our profound gratitude to our principal, Dr. T. Shivakumar, for his minute-to-minute guidance and support for this program. Thank you, sir. I also thank our Chief Administrative Officer, Dr. K. Krishnamurthy, for providing encouragement and at every point of time in the organization of this great event. And thank you, sir. Our sincere gratitude to the participants from various disciplines in and around the country. And we wish to thank our Dr. Aja Sharif, HOD and Professor of Pharmacy Practice, Nandha College of Pharmacy, for participating as a moderator to this panel session. And we must not forget to thank the organizing committee members who contributed to organizing the panel discussion in a successful path. Thank you, one and all.
Thank the participants also, because without them,
yeah, we thank.
Yeah, so yeah, it's definitely expertly ending the discussion on time. Will leave everyone with positive impression. Thanks a lot for all of our resource person, Dr. SRIRAM, equally Dr. BRITTO, and our JIBIN, for giving your valuable suggestion and being with us for panel discussion moderators, which make this even more informative with positive aspects. I extend my gratitude to our Honorable Principal, Dr. T. Shivakumar, who is the reason for this today's panel discussion in a different way. Also, I feel gratitude to my panel members, especially to our Sharif sir, Dr. Haja Sharif sir, Sir was worried about to mention about your name in welcome address. So he heartfully extend his gratitude to you, sir. And Mr. Apollo James, Mrs. Hemalata, and Mrs. Gladys Kalpana, and Dr. Jagadishwaran for your valuable contribution to this session. Thanks a lot for everyone. And it's a time for gratitude to our participants also. Now we need to make some important announcement for our delegates. Your feedback link is already sent to your email ID along with your Zoom link. Go through and submit to receive your certificate for this participation. Also in YouTube, in Nandha TV channel, today live session is present. For your further reference, kindly like and subscribe our channel and support us for further updates. So this is a time for lunch, I think so. So once again, I thank you for participating for this today's webinar and make this program to be a successful one. We hope you to see you again in next time. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr.
Thank you.
BRITTO.
Thank
Dr.
you.
JIBIN, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.